everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Circus and Drama Summer Holiday Extravaganza. We're focusing on circus fitness and you'll have something to work with almost every day of the week. Today we're going to learn a hula hoop trick and it looks like this. Before we begin, let's do a quick warm-up. Let's start by rolling our head around our shoulders so the chin comes to the chest and we're drawing half circles. So if we had a paintbrush coming out of the top of our heads, we'd be drawing a smiley face with it. A nice big smiley face. Everything should feel nice and loose, nice and soft. Let's draw circles, backward circles with our shoulders. And as we draw them, let's see how we can stretch our faces. So we'll warm up our faces. And forward circles. Great. Here's a fun little shoulder exercise. Bring an arm out in front of you at a right angle. Bring it back as far as it can go. When it's as far as it can go, you're going to bring your fingertips back and straighten that arm. And then forwards. Back to the starting position. So we open, point the fingers, straighten the arm and return. Open, return. This is a nice shoulder stretch. And let's do the other arm. Great. Let's draw circles with our hips. Really big circles. How big can you make these circles? You might have to incorporate your whole body. And we'll change direction. Are you ready to learn your circus trick? This move is known as breaks because we're breaking the hoop and making it move the other direction. Let me demonstrate. I start by spinning the hoop this way. I break it. Now it's spinning this way. To do this trick, you need to be able to hula hoop both directions comfortably. You need quite a light hoop. So if you've got a really heavy weighted hoop, then that's going to bruise your arm. Let's start by hula hooping comfortably the direction that we prefer. Let's go for a little walk. Now let's hula hoop the other direction. Try to do the same. So take your hula hoop for a little walk, do some dance moves with your hands, see what you can do. Try to keep it up. Now, One way to keep the hula hoop up is to really squeeze your stomach muscles. Keep all this area of your body strong, from your thighs to your hips to your belly. Really squeeze, and your bum cheeks. Nice and solid and strong. All the muscles are compact and contracted. Another tip is that if you do feel the hula hoop start to fall down, then push harder and maybe bend your knees and try to scoop it up with your hip bone. Let's go the other direction. Here's another tip to keep it up. Turning in the same direction as the hula hoop helps keep it up, because it kind of sticks to our body and gives it a little bit of momentum. So see which direction your hoop is spinning and then turn in that direction. Practice that anyway, because we're going to add that to our little routine later on. Should we learn some breaks? First of all, hula hoop the direction you're comfortable with. We're going to stop it with both hands and then push it the other way. Stop, push, stop, change, stop, change, stop, change. So the next step is, instead of stopping it with our hands, we're going to push it with the inside of our arm. See this space in my hula hoop? When I see this space in front of me, that's when I'm going to get ready to give it a push. So as the hula hoop moves about here, my arm will come down. It will be straight and it will be strong. I'm going to push the hoop about here with my forearm. So I'm pushing it about here, underneath my elbow, keeping my arm straight and strong. I'm giving it a little tap. If I tap it too hard, this will happen. The hoop speeds up a bit too much and goes out of control. Figure out yourselves the force of this tap. Let's try it. Hoop the direction you're comfortable with. Bring your arm out and behind. When the space is at the front, you're going to give it a tap. The action we do is like this with our arm. So we're bringing our arm backwards and forwards. Backwards, forwards. If you've got that, maybe try with the other arm. Here's another tip. Try to be hula hooping as slowly as you can. That way you can really see what's happening. It's not out of control, and it gives you time to bring your arm around behind and tap. If it's going really, really fast, all you see is a shiny whirl of hula hoop, and it's hard to see what's happening. Like this, I don't know when to bring my arm down because it's going so fast. But if I slow it down, I can see what's happening. So, have you managed to do it on both sides? You can start by just doing one side, and if you want, you can stop the other side with your hands. But eventually, try to do it both sides with both arms. When you're really comfortable, you can learn a little routine. So we can create rhythms. We can go tap, 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 tap. Or we can tap, 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 tap. So remember, I'm pushing the hula hoop with this part of my arm. It comes out and behind. When the hoop gets to about here, I'm pushing like this. So like I said, we want to find control, and the control comes from the force that you tap your hoop with. If I tap too much, it might push the hoop up here, and then I'm doing my breaks at this weird angle, which is okay, but it's hard to control. So figure out the force that you need to apply to get your breaks nice and smooth, to keep the hula hoop as flat as possible around your waist. So here I've got a little bit of an angle, but that's okay because I've still got control. Are you ready to learn a super duper advanced move? So we can actually tap with one arm and do everything with just one arm. Let me show you 2 taps with one arm. Watch carefully. So once I've tapped the hoop and it's changing direction, the hoop's then coming from behind. So I'm then going to tap the hoop the other way. Watch again. So I'm doing a tiny little twist in my arm. First, I'm tapping it like that, then I'm tapping it like that. I'm doing this. It's very fast. Very, very fast. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Shall we try 3? Play around with it, have lots of fun, and if you want, you can follow this tiny little routine. We'll start with our hula hoops around our waist, and we're going to do this. 4, then spin, turn, 3, 4, break, spin, turn, 3, 4, break, 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 break. If you want to, you can add a break, 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 and a break, 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 and a break, 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 and a break, break, break. Da-da! How should we end this? I think we should stop it with both hands, flip it above our heads, and then take a bow. Ta-da! Well done. For our drama exercise, I want to talk about breaking the fourth wall. So, what is a fourth wall, you might ask? Well, the term fourth wall comes from the theatre. If you imagine some actors on stage, they have 3 walls around them. I'm acting on stage. I have the wall behind me, where there's probably backstage behind it, and I have a wall either side of me. In front of me is the audience. There's no wall there, but usually we have an imaginary fourth wall. This means that the actors ignore the audience. They don't go up to a member of the audience and say, "Hello, how are you?" Actors pretend that the audience are not there by creating this imaginary fourth wall. We're going to break this fourth wall. If you go to the circus and you see clowns, for example, they don't have this fourth wall because they interact with the audience and they acknowledge the audience and they have fun with the audience. They don't ignore the audience. There's nothing wrong with the fourth wall, by the way, but in television and film and a lot of theatre, in the fantasy world that they've created, the audience don't exist. But in the kind of drama that we're going to play with today, the audience do exist. We're going to do a little activity, and for this activity I want you to do an everyday task. Something quite small, so not a really big thing, but something like filing your nails, brushing your teeth, reading a newspaper, eating an ice lolly, okay? So, pause the video now and go and get your objects. When you've got your object, let's start by doing our activity. Now, the purpose of this exercise is to practice being yourself. So we're not acting here, we're just being ourselves. Because actually, really funny, magical things can happen when you're just being yourself. So just be yourself. Now, the next thing I want you to do is have an audience. Now, your audience could be a camera or your phone filming you. It could be a mirror, your reflection. It could be a friend or a family member. It could be an animal or a cuddly toy. But have someone or something that you're going to look at every now and then. Because this is how we break our fourth wall. So let's do our activity in our own little world. Now we're going to look at our audience. Carry on doing your activity. Look at your audience. Now let's do two things. First of all, change what you're doing with your activity slightly. So remember, we're not acting, we're being ourselves, but we can exaggerate a little bit. So you might make your action a bit bigger or more rushed or smaller, slower. Or you might add another little move. Then we're going to look at our audience and see how it makes us feel. So first of all, think of two things. You're doing your activity. I'm going to rush here. I look at my audience. Oh, hello. I didn't know you were there. I'm actually a little bit embarrassed about being seen brushing my teeth in public. So I stop. And then I think, oh, forget it. I'm in a rush. I carry on. So, two things to do. Change what you're doing with your object a little bit. Make it a little bit different. Look at your audience. How does it make you feel? Do you continue or do you stop what you're doing? Let's go together. So, when we've noticed that our audience are looking at us and we're being watched, we're going to acknowledge our audience by letting them into our world a little bit and let them know how do we feel about knowing that they're watching us brushing our teeth or filing our nails or whatever you're doing. How do we feel about that? Do we carry on? Do we stop because we're really shy and embarrassed? Whatever you do is fine, there's no rules here. We want to see you. The audience love you because you're amazing. So let's see what you can bring to the table. Let's go again. This time, when we look at our audience, we're going to carry on looking at our audience for about 20 seconds. Really look them in the eyes or look the camera in the lens and see what happens. Hello. Whoopsie. Ugh. Are you ready for a really fun challenge? Can you hula hoop and do your task at the same time? So as before, do exactly the same, but this time we're hula hooping. So we'll do our activity. We'll realise we're being watched. Then we'll share a trick with them. A break. If you can change the hand that you're doing your object with and break the other direction. If you've ever been to a circus or you've watched America's Got Talent, you might have noticed that combining different things together can be really fun to watch. So we've just combined an everyday activity with hula hooping. And we've also explored looking at our audience to get them involved, to make them a part of our show. So, I challenge you to create a little film and share it with me and everybody else. If you want, I can give you some feedback, but I'm sure it will be fantastic. So please do share something. You can share anything. If you have a question about how to get these breaks, then please ask me and I'll make sure to answer. Okay, so well done. Thank you and see you next time.